the link with her. But let me introduce my guest this evening. Shalaka Thakur is an undergraduate student joining me from Mumbai. She's been part of the protest. Firoz Abbas Khan, well-known director, stage personality and stage director. Thank you very much, Firoz, for joining us. Also joining us on our panel this evening, we have Krishna Srivatsa. He's joining us from Bangalore. He's a IAS officer on deputation. Jay Panda is a member of parliament joining us tonight. Meghnad Desai is in our studios in Delhi. Thank you very, very much, gentlemen. I want to ask you, Shalaka,
yes,
what took you there to the protest?
What took me there? Finally, there is a cause worth fighting for. And the most important thing is that it's something concrete. It's not just people on the street saying that we don't want corruption because we don't want corruption. There is a bill. There is a goal in mind.
What's the goal?
We want to pass the Jan Lokpal bill. It's the first step. I'm not saying that it'll stop corruption altogether, but it's the first step. It's a concrete step. We know what we are fighting for, and the end is clear.
Do you fear that this may not, there are powerful lobbies there? A lot of people who want this protest to end very quickly.
Of course.
So that we can all move on and pretend it never happened and then maybe, wait for another 42 years.
I think how it goes depends entirely on the youth. Since the youth, they're not corrupted by all of this as of now. So as long as the youth is for it, and it is gaining a lot of momentum with the youth, it will go ahead. It can't stop as long as we know that there is something that can change the present day scenario. There is something that can be the first step towards ending corruption. We can all see it. It's clear. The difference between the two bills is clear. And as long as it is before us, we're going to continue fighting for it. It will certainly not dissolve, not with the kind of momentum it's gaining.
Incredible. I mean, I must put on record here because I don't know when was the last youth movement. This is strange. A 73-year-old man leading a youth movement. Incredible. Priyadarshini is also joining us here in the studio. She's a businesswoman. What do you think about what's happening?
I think it's a great movement. It's more of a revolution than a movement, and the youth should come out in more numbers and join us. I guess since Anna Hazare is leading the movement, and there are several other key figures whose integrity we can trust.
You think it may be hijacked by politicians?
I fear that may happen. However, we shouldn't let that happen. But then another thing is we are not afraid, nor are we motivated by favors. The movement is clear. We are fighting for the Jan Lokpal bill. There is a difference between the government's bill and the Jan Lokpal bill. I'm reiterating this. We are fighting for this. We are pushing this. That is the platform. Whoever wants to come forward and help us achieve this, whether it's the opposition party, they are free to do so. We are not going to anybody. We are not stopping anybody from joining us.
Well, it's having a tremendous viral effect. I mean, I haven't seen something like this for a long time. Jay Panda, what do you think as a member of parliament? You think this is not, we had another of our panelists say, this kind of, it's an anti-politician sentiment. We saw this in 26/11. People didn't go out and vote after that, but this is not that. This is something very focused. They want a Jan Lokpal bill, a truly independent anti-corruption watchdog, which politicians have ensured does not happen for more than 4 decades.
Well, it's high time something happened. Draft Lokpal bills have been going on for nearly half a century. And the anger that we see, not just among the young people, I mean, old people are angry too. The average Indian citizen is very angry at what's been happening in this country. And I think we may be reaching a point where action can no longer be avoided. And that's a good thing. I think from whatever I've read, I agree with most of what the Jan Lokpal bill or the draft that Anna Hazare is supports. For example, we till now have required governmental approval for any prosecutions to be initiated against politicians or bureaucrats or judges. That is a hangover from the British Raj. That is not what a democratic country like India should have. So most of those proposals should be adopted. But I also think that when very important and respectable lawyers have said that there are 1 or 2 areas of concerns, I think we should allow those voices to also mediate and ensure that this bill goes through in a manner that is not struck down by the courts, that it goes through in the first place. And as long as we can retain, most of the proposals that Anna Hazare has made, I think we should consider it as a victory.
To our viewers, I'm going to now going to Meghnad Desai in just a bit, and then we'll go point by point on what we think are the pros and cons of this bill. I just want to go once to Jantar Mantar. I think we have Geetika back with us now. Geetika, what's the mood there? Will this sustain itself?
Arnab, you know, it's been 2 days that this movement has really begun, but with each passing moment, you can really see the passion, the enthusiasm, the patriotism just kind of swell with each passing moment. In fact, we have been speaking to a lot of people here, and they call it India's Tahrir Square, the beginning of a movement, a crusade against corruption. I'll just go straight across to the people who I have with me here. I have Ashwin. Ashwin, what do you think is what makes this the right time for a moment like this?
I think, this is the right time that we should come together as a nation and weed out this cancer that has struck our country for so long. I've come here to support this movement with my kids who are here and with my wife, and I think that we should all come together, unite together and weed it out.
Okay, and we have also been kind of getting a sense of the kind of frustration that is there in the people of how the corruption, the scams, it's all peaking, and yet the government is not doing anything. Ma'am, what brings you here, and what is the one message that you want to send to the government by your presence here?
Look, I just want to tell government to start listening to civil society. I think we've had enough of this, and I just feel somehow that corruption has seeped into our genes. So I don't know what's going to make things turn around, and I really, really want them to understand that the voice of civil society is really important, and that's what's kept this country going for so long.
And you also agree with the kind of changes that are being called on the part of, the government, that the Jan Lokpal bill is being called for? Are you
Absolutely, I'm 100% with it. But those changes need to happen. I mean, who's going to allow us? I mean, look at the other side, where you have to go to the vice president and to the speaker, and that also you can't directly go to them. So what kind of democracy are we talking about? What kind of Lokpal bill are we talking about when you have to go to these people before our voices are heard?
That's right. In fact, I have Arunima here with me as well, who's been working with this movement for a very long time. Arunima, what do you think makes this movement really, really special and really empowers the citizen? What is your take on it?
The best part of the whole movement is that the people from all walks of life are there. People who are actually doing something for the country, like Shri Ravi Shankar, Swami Ramdev, Arvind Kejriwal, Kiran Bedi. All of these people have united and are taking a stand. Today we've witnessed thousands of people marching from India Gate to Jantar Mantar, youth of the country. And I appeal to the youth of the country that stop cribbing and now take a stand and be here and support the movement. We can change and we have to change.
So, Arnab, that's pretty much the sentiment here
Absolutely.
at Jantar Mantar, not only here but also something that is reverberating across the nation, that it is time to stop cribbing and time to take action and time to really stand up for our rights. Back
Absolutely. Thank you, Geetika. Arvind Kejriwal will be debating the points of that bill with Krishna Srivastav joining in 2 minutes. But Lord Desai, what do you make of what you are seeing tonight, Lord Desai?
Yeah.
What do you make of this?
Well, I have memories of 1968 in Britain and France, which had no old people at all leading it. It was all led by young people, and they were tremendously revolutionary, and they did make a lot of changes. What we have here is more reminiscent of what JP was doing in 1974, and the whole Navnirman movement that JP did. At a time when Indira Gandhi had an enormous majority in Lok Sabha, a lot of legitimacy, but still it shook the government then. And I think this government is being too complacent, too legalistic. I think they're so enamored the fact that they're elected. They are not actually willing to listen. There's a big trust deficit, and I think the only way to do it would be to have the committee of the civil society, and the government should have a committee in which no UPA or NDA MP is a member. Let us have MPs who have nothing to do with any current or previous government. Otherwise, the trust deficit will continue. After a bill is agreed, then the parliament can take it over. But right now, people do not trust ministers or ex-ministers or anybody who has been in power, because the whole system is very badly tainted. So I am hoping that this will continue, that the whole upsurge will get more and more strength, and hopefully by the weekend we will see real tumultuous movement across India.